start with the great name of Allah, who is the most merciful and kindful. My name is Saif Ali Mangnejo. I am BS English Department 2K20 LELL Satyatali, my roll number. Now I am start my present video presentation. The idea of philosophy in journal this the organs and development of Greek philosophy. As we all know that every subject is context of specific sort of knowledge. For instance, botany is the knowledge of plants, and physics is the knowledge of matter and energy. So, like those students, there is no any specific definition of philosophy. In the time of Plato, physics and astronomy were the part of philosophy. But as the time passed, they were separated from the philosophy. Now they are the considered a separate science. The view of philosophy is differently used in every period. In every period, the concept of philosophy has been used very differently and properly, and in every period, the philosophy has been expressed very differently. So that is the reason philosophy has no any particular definition. The geometricians could not find any particular limit in philosophy. The geometry found basic propositions which was right so being self-evident. It did not require any sort of invitations. So that is called axiom. That means two strange lines cannot close a space which are already equal. Again, the existence of matter is taken for granted by physics science. But what matter is what philosophy is about. On the same time, this question may be for a physicist, but it is not one for a philosopher. As you all know that the constitutions of matter is a physical problem, but it is a very different question for philosophy. Different kind of matters are existing around us, but when we consider what is different between them, it does not tell us what is natural importance of matter. So that has been a of science but also of philosophy. In the same way, all the sciences take the existence of universe for granted, but according to philosophy, it is a universal at all. It means it is true. Is it a really which creates all things and it is? Then what kind of reality is it? If we did not trust of law, all cautions. The truth of law of cautions, it means only become we believe that in the same circumstances the same thing always occurs. Future philosophy deals with the universe as a whole. We are not in a position to speak about the two different worlds. One is external plus physical world and other is internal mental world. We cannot consider that the, the external purely physical because it is include other minds. We want to recognize the mental world only through interpretations, and it occurs in youth or manhood. That we are almost related or to mental world that which we are less familiar. Most of us spend their time upon considering various aspects of things external to them. Individual trekking makes a man to the long hereditary habit. Then it's come about man he has to understand physical world as more real than the mental world. Whenever we just want to express something mental, we just do it physically. Yet the mental world were more familiar and real to us than the mental language would have been opportunity opposite principle. The earliest word of language should have been facts, and we should have tried to describe physical things through mental analogies. Right now, philosophy is a necessary attempt to get Marxist thinking in order to get the next truth. Also, philosophy helps us to seek the highest level of truth. In modern philosophy, various ventures for intense metaphysics, study of reality, ethics, study of theory of good, aesthetics, the study of beautiful. According to book, modern deviance to not if we look back to the world, countries, and ages, the thought we have expressed that has attained the highest degree of development. Ancient Greek and modern they were great civilized. Rome is the ancient city, but it could not add something to the knowledge of philosophy. If we talk about philosophy in India, it is more debateful when it comes to philosophy, and their opinions are very different. That proves India had ever had a philosophy. The reason why this Indian thought is not included in the histories of philosophy. Firstly, India has not separated philosophy from religious and practical need. Particular need. Now we are going to talk about the organ of philosophy. The organ of philosophy cannot be found in Indian or Egypt or any country outside Greece. The Greek philosophy started in 6th century. It begins when men had just started to give the answer of specific questions. So Greek falls into three periods. Number one, pre-Socrates, the period at the rise of Greek philosophy. 2. The period from Socrates to Aristotle, which include the Socrates and the Lonis. The Lonis is the name of period of three philosophers, Thales, Anaximander, and Anaximenes. Thales. Thales is of Matthias was also called the founder and father of philosophy in an early language of philosophy. He was born about 642 BC and died about 550 BC. Thales was popular about his mathematical and astronomical learning. He was a very wisdom person. He was the first philosopher who predicted escape of the sun occurred in 585. So no any writing present even the time of Aristotle because he wrote nothing. Thales said that principal source of all things is water. The things we gain from water and those all things turn to water again. He also said that the earth is like a disk which floats on the surface of water. So now it means water is the primary source of existence, and the mat means everything moves in a particular cycle of water. The opinion of Thales was the entire universe is diverse of water's even actions, uncreations, and the great no one is explanation. Now nothing is known regarding this point. Now the importance of theories is not that the water philosophy is any value of itself, but this way this was a way to explain the universe without having scientific experiments. Examiner an experimenter. The next philosopher of logic school, he was a smart, very smart thinker. He was born about 611 BC and died 547 BC, maybe. He was the first and only philosopher who wrote philosophical treats and that is not present now. Also, he was a astronomer and geographical and details of life are not known. Alexander, Alexander said that the principal source of all things is material, but he did not say that it can be water. He said it can be anything. Further, he described that a metal's shape is very particular metal are not same iron, braces and other such things. The metal are qualitative. Every metal has its own quantities. It means air is air because it has the qualities of air. Air differs from iron because iron has the qualities of iron. Opinion about Alexander was that he believed these words to success each other in first word was created, developed and was destroyed, then other word and developed and destroyed. So this cycle may be continuing from very beginning. So this was the opinion of philosopher Alexander. Anaximenes, Anax, Anaximenes, Anaximenes was a great philosopher and he also part of logic Ionic school. He was born about at 588 BC and died about 524. He also wrote several treats of which a small part still remained. He was totally agreed the opinion of Thales and Alexander. He also said that the first principle of the universe is metrical and also focused on particular kind of matter. He gives two progressive reference reflections progressive of getting warm, two conditions progressive of getting cold. Further, he said by the process of refraction air become fire. By the process of conditions air become cold and then it's successfully become water. If we believe as these early physicists did that every different kind of matter is ultimately one kind of matter. The other Ionic thinkers we have now known the three chief thinkers of Ionic school. Other philosophers were also in the period, but they did not add something. They followed these three chief philosophers. Thales said that the world is composed of facts. Alexander said that the idealist is a diverse from air. Anaximander said that every matter has particular shape and qualities. All matters are not same basis of qualities. So overall, they all believed that air was ground all of things.